I finally hit level 70 in Dragonflight. At last, my casual ass got to level cap, and so today I would like to share with you guys my thoughts on the adventure to max level and just geek out about this new expansion with you guys for a little bit. So without further ado, let's just fly in and talk about some Dragonflight, shall we? First, before we get to the Dragon Isles, I do need to talk a little bit about my mindset going into this expansion, what I thought about it, and just where I was at the end of Shadowlands. Admittingly, I was very skeptical of Dragonflight. I had played a little bit of the beta, but not that much because I wanted everything to be a surprise for me in Dragonflight. Just like you guys that didn't get into the beta, I don't want to spoil everything before I go and undertake the adventure. I might be a content creator, but I'm a fan of the game first, and so I want to enjoy the game. Shadowlands was not well received at all by the community. There's all the crap that's been happening behind the scenes at Blizzard, and I wasn't sure if they could pull off a very successful expansion in their current climate. I fully intended that I was probably just going to get to level cap in Dragonflight and then just go right back to Wrath of the Lich King and just stick to that. Maybe even not get to level cap in Dragonflight and just get bored of it within like maybe half a dozen levels or something. But I'm happy to say that was not the case. I am level 70, as the title suggests, and I'm doing heroic dungeons, and let's just talk about the journey. Despite being skeptical of the expansion, there was one thing that I was very much excited for, and I made a video about it here on this channel, and that was the fact that Dragonflight seemed to be leaning very much on a classical fantasy vibe. There really was no story. It's just, hey, there's a dragon island, let's go see what's over there and see what kind of treasures we can find. Oh, and by the way, there's this really big dragon and we should probably kill it. It really gave me these sort of Lord of the Rings Hobbit kind of vibes, but I'll talk more about that in a second. So I was really hoping that Blizzard was going to really dive into the vibe of exploration and discovery with this expansion. And the first thing to say about Dragonflight having gotten to level cap, it's that discovery is the overarching theme of this expansion, and I absolutely love that. I love that in any MMO that I have played, but I think this expansion does it perfectly. Let me explain what I'm talking about. Once you get to the Dragon Isles, there is so much stuff to discover in this expansion. You've got the Dragonriding, all the abilities that you can unlock through it, the time challenges, updated professions, and everything to discover there. The Great Hunt event, Tuskar Soup, like there's so much to discover just in terms of different ways to play the game and different things to do while playing the game. You also, of course, can discover the various factions, which, to be fair, they're all really cool, but we only care about the Tuskar here on this channel. We can all agree with that, okay? The Tuskar are the best, right? And of course, there's tons of treasures to find throughout the islands. Explorer packs, the dragon glyphs to upgrade the dragon flying, the little kites that you can untie here and there for an achievement, every flavorful little addition to professions like finding the mining caves. The point is, for me, Dragonflight it really had this Hobbit vibe to it. I was going to a destination, in this case, I was trying to get to level 70, and I was discovering so much along the way. Just like in the book, you have the Shire, Rivendell, the Goblin Caves, Beorn's House, the Lonely Mountain. In this case of Dragonflight, it was finding treasure, learning to play the game in new ways, meeting the various factions, upgrading my dragon, etc., and just finding so much new stuff as I leveled up. And getting to level 70, at least for me, it just opened up the door even more. Like it blew my mind, all the stuff that there is to do at level cap. Like all the reputation windows alone have so much to unlock, all these little features and changes that will change the game even further. I feel like this expansion is like a giant mountain of content to climb towards and to discover. I always felt every time I logged in that there was so much to do, and it was great. And in the spirit of discovery, I have to say that Dragonflight has some of the best zones in World of Warcraft, at least in my own opinion. All the zones are absolutely beautiful, especially the Azure Span with the snow and the coastline biome, the comfy little Tuskar village, the rolling plains, the thundering mountains of this island. The Dragon Isles are just a sight to behold. And the fact that Blizzard even put in that sit and just look at the scenery while listening to a story quest line, it just shows how much Blizzard loves the environmental art of the Isles, and they just want you to take it all in. I also really appreciated how big the Dragon Isles were as I was questing, because when you have a mount that can go up to 850% speed, it's really no surprise that you gotta make the world pretty big. I'm an OG MMO player. Like, I played Star Wars Galaxies back in the day, like Wandering the Sands of Tatooine. That was a big MMO, let me tell you what. So I just love big worlds with plenty to discover in them. So the scale of the Dragon Isles, like, I think that even after having gone through the entire island, I feel like I've only really explored like 25% of the entire thing, and I've only seen a small piece of it. And that feeling alone just inspires me to log on and to play more, because I want to see where the daily quests and the story quests and just all of it, I want to see where it takes me. And that of course leads me to talking a little bit more about dragon flying, because dragon flying for me it's so fresh and it's such a fun feature to play with. It's enjoyable just to log on to World of Warcraft, not to do any content, not to do professions, not to do a dungeon, just to fly around on your dragon. I do remember back in the day when I played the beta a little bit and I made that one video talking about the dragon flying feature, and many people were very skeptical about it because it was just this updated way to fly in the game. Like, what's the big deal? I got to play with it a little bit. I thought it was awesome. It's just really cool how everybody now has their hands on this feature and they're really enjoying it. It's like the most beloved feature in Dragonflight so far. All the dragon customization options to find, the glyphs hidden all around the world. It's kind of like player housing if you think about it. It's what it could be, but it's just a mount and it can fly at breakneck speeds. You know what I mean? You got like a house and you can find the customization around the world, maybe some hidden stuff like glyphs. It's like player housing, but just a mount. Do this in the future. Blizzard, bring us player housing and make it like this. Big flying house, at breakneck speeds. It'd be great. Maybe don't do that. Flying house would be kind of weird. Unless you're a goblin or a gnome, in which case that is perfectly acceptable. Anyway, I do love all the dragon flying skills throughout this expansion, but I do admit I wish there was a little bit more, like maybe a basic hover ability, for example. Is there a way to hover in this game? Like, is there a way to hover on your dragon mount, just like float in the air? If so, I'm not aware of it. All right. Absolutely loved the dungeons while leveling up. My favorite was the Knoll dungeon, just because I like the dark and moody theme, and of course it's in the Azure span, so looks beautiful. The profession updates, oh my goodness, they have been incredible. I very, very much enjoyed leveling up my professions while getting to 70. In fact, when I got to 70, I actually got to my heroic dungeon item level gear just through crafting alone, and I adore that fact. I am living the casual dungeoneer crafting lifestyle, and it has been awesome. And so to bring it full circle, because I don't want this video to be too long, I really can't praise this expansion enough when it comes to its level up experience, at least speaking only for myself. I think most of us were very skeptical with this expansion going into it, myself included, as I've already talked about. And getting to the Dragon Isles and just seeing how much love and care and attention was put into this expansion, and just seeing how Blizzard pushed the exploration factor, and you can just tell there's a lot of love in this expansion. There's so much to do, and it just was really an enjoyable experience getting to level 70 in this expansion. In fact, in many ways, I would say that I enjoyed getting to 70 in Dragonflight more than I enjoyed getting to 80 in Wrath of the Lich King. And that's saying something. I'm a big classic fan. I love classic WoW, but this is fun. And I'm really happy that I'm happy that Blizzard has proved us wrong. I'm a big fan of the game. I always want it to do well. That's why I criticize it. That's why I like to talk about it. It's why I've been here for so many years on YouTube making content. And this has been probably one of the freshest feeling, most fun expansion experiences that I've had getting to max level. So those are my thoughts on Dragonflight. Maybe they'll change as I jump into endgame more. Maybe the endgame will just completely suck. But I will keep you guys updated on my opinions as we go along. So until that time, stay subscribed, like the video, and if you want to hear some epic gamer noises, then you should watch the video on your screen right now, because for some odd reason, Blizzard decided to send me a box, a mystery box, and you're about to find out what's inside. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you on the Dragon Isles.